For those of you that are subscribed, thank you so much for supporting me. A reminder to please go and follow the account season.thebrand on Instagram. I'll put it somewhere. And go follow me on Instagram at Chichi with six Y's, CHICH, and then 6 Y's. And yeah, I mean, let's get into the video. Oh sweetie, what it done. Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, please subscribe, and if it's not your first time here, please like, turn on your notification, and enjoy the vibes. Obviously by the title, you know, this is another tea time with C. It's not the worst date I've ever gone on, but it's the second worst. It's the second worst date I've ever gone on, right? And to the guy that this is about, I'm not sure if you watch my channel, because I don't remember when we had the conversation because I was naked. But if you are watching this, please don't take any offense. I don't think you're not a good person. I don't think you're not a great guy. I just think you weren't my guy. When it comes to dates, a lot of the time I do believe that like going 50-50 on the first date is a very fair thing to do. And I don't believe in having extravagant first dates in terms of like monetary value. I'm cool with us like going to the car wash. If there's a car to get washed, please don't take me to a car wash to sit outside, because I know you guys sometimes you don't process fully. You hear one thing and then you just want to move it. No, if there's a car to get washed, you see, we can go to the car wash, or I don't mind. Okay, don't run errands on a first date. Like a second date, I'll run errands. Or like having a picnic, or like going to an art gallery. Doing free things on a first date is cool. Like save the 1,000 rand dinner for when I'm actually your hand. Let's not invest into things when we don't know if there's a return on investment. You got what I'm saying? So my expectations are not the highest of high. You got. Anyways, so I met this gent, right? This one time when I was in Cape Town. I met this gent, and I don't even know, that night I was just being a man eater, because I actually started the day trying to flirt with a different gent, but it doesn't matter. I met this gent and I was very naked, and we were having the most amazing conversation according to my drunk self, right? We were laughing, we were getting along, things were going well, it was great. And then we started lumsing, and like he was such a good lums. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like to me, when are you leaving? I was like, no, I'm supposed to leave in like, it was 2 or 3 days, because at that point I hadn't extended my trip. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna take you on a date tomorrow. So I was like, tomorrow? And he's like, yeah, definitely. He took my number, and he even asked me while I was naked, he's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, oh no, just go get like ice cream or something, because Cape Town genuinely has the best ice cream spots. Like in Joburg, you get a few spots, but like it's just not as nice. The vibe isn't the same. Like imagine just grabbing ice cream, walking along the promenade, watching the ocean. That's my vibe. That's my type of date. So I was like, I really just want to go get ice cream, and I was staying in Sea Point, so it worked out. Like it was just perfect, right? And he's like, okay, cool, I'll text you tomorrow. Next day, we're texting, like planning this date, and he's like, I just have to finish an assignment, so you know, we can go out afterwards. So I'm like, okay, cool. Keep in mind, like at this point in time, it was level 1, curfew was midnight, I think. So like we really could have even gone out at like 8 p.m. should needs be for him to finish his assignment, right? But he's like to me, no, let's do 5. I think he said, let's do 5, right? So like, okay, that's cool. Like I can do 5, whatever. We go to Waterfront, right? And usually if you go to Waterfront, like you're gonna eat or maybe catch a drink, or like something. Like Waterfront is not the type of place you go to just walk around the actual mall, because it's the equivalent to like a Joburg shopping center. You know, if it wasn't on the beach, literally, it wouldn't be as great as it is. So that's, you're not gonna, like, I'm not gonna take you to Morningside Shopping Center or to like Nickelway for a date if we're not gonna eat or shop or something. Like, do you get what I mean? Anyway, so we go to waterfront and I'm expecting something is gonna happen. And he's like, I haven't been to waterfront in a really long time. I last came here and I was like a little wana, so let's like walk around a bit. I'm like, okay, cool. We walk around this mall a few times, hit a lot of dead ends because we don't know where the hell we're going. And at some point I'm like, I need a Red Bull if I'm gonna be able to cope with this. So we go into Woolies and I grab a Red Bull. I'm like, do you want anything? He's like, no. Cool, pay for my Red Bull, we vibe. Right. We're walking around, and then he takes me like, we go to like benches looking into the dock, right? Like of or where the ships and the yachts and what, not ships, but you get what I mean, where the boats go past. So we're sitting there and like, it's very beautiful, like don't get me wrong. So I don't even mind us sitting there. Cape Town is a bit windy, but like I'm fine. Like I'm not fussy. But if we're gonna just sit there, we need to be talking and having fun, and like you need to have the personality to sustain it. And I don't mean to be arrogant, but like I know I have the personality to sustain that type of thing. Like I can crack jokes, I can fire back, like banter. You don't even have to be romantic, just banter, something small. I just need small things, right? Just a little bit, like a 10 rand note, and I can turn it into a 20, and then we're sitting there and this gent has nothing to talk about. And so then we end up talking about how basically it's my fault that he didn't get to write his literature essay properly because he rushed it to take me on a date. So I'm like to him, bro, if you knew you had work to do, why did you suggest that the date was so early? Because I didn't give you a time. I literally said, you tell me the time you want to go out and I will avail myself because I have nothing to do today. Imagine I'm being blamed. This is the first red flag. I'm being blamed for why he didn't think his essay was good enough and why he didn't write it properly when it really had nothing to do with me. So I said, no, it's fine, cool. We start talking. When a conversation is bad, when I have to be like, oh, so tell me about yourself. Guys, we're grown-ups now. Anyway, we do the whole tell me about yourself thing and like, what are you studying? At some point you're going to have to small talk to get to know someone. So I'm like, it's not that bad, first date vibes. We're still fairly early into the date, cool. Now, at this point, this is when this man starts to be affectionate. This is when he decides to start being affectionate. And I'm a very affectionate person, and I'd expressed that to him that, like, I am very big on affection. But you can't just be affectionate and we're not saying anything to each other. Anyway, I can tell if he wants salams, but I just wasn't going to give it to him. It just didn't make sense. Guys, this man is holding me, like, he's touching me. And it's overwhelming because, like, we're not saying anything. And I've just met you. I've known you literally for less than 24 hours. And you on me. So, and it takes a lot to overwhelm me with affection. Like, it takes a lot. So for me to be overwhelmed, you can imagine this gent. He was, like, on my shoulders. He was... Anyways, it's getting cold. So I'm like, okay, just stop touching me for a bit so I can put on my jersey, right? So I put it on. And then he's like to me, oh, that looks so warm. If only I could wear it because I'm cold. What the fuck? I'm in a short little denim dungaree dress. Literally the shortest thing ever. This is the only thing I have to keep myself warm. And you're now saying, if only I could wear your sweater. You wearing a whole jacket, frizzly, and long pants. Then he's like, come, let's walk around some more. This man takes me, guys, he literally took me through the office buildings. He made me explore the office buildings. It's a Friday evening. It's like 6 by this point. The office buildings are closed. There's no one inside. I thought I was going to get kidnapped. It was so awful. Now also, at this point in time, he wants to hold hands. But like, he's busy fucking running through this building while I'm like... I'm on a date. Like, I want to be calm and stroll. I'm also like a stroller in general if I'm not in a rush. This gent is holding my hand, fucking pulling me like I'm a dog on a leash. Like, have you ever walked a dog and they're excited to go, mate? They're excited to go and you're just following like this? No. We go to like this door and only one person can go through at a time. This man lets go of my hand and walks through the door first. I said, yoha. I said, okay, no, it's fine.
Okay, it's fine.
I said, okay, no, it's fine. Let me, maybe we don't follow gender stereotypes this side, and that's okay. That's okay. Anyway, we walk, guys. We start seeing apartment buildings. That's when why the hell are we here? Because no one's staying here. We don't have an apartment here. And we find like there's like a lint shop, and then there are benches like outside it so that you can obviously sit and eat the chocolates. So basically how this bench looks is like there's the bench and then there's a little table. So I can sit here, table, and then you sit here so that we can eat. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a weird thing, right? We were sitting there. He doesn't even offer to take me into the lint shop to see what's going on, what. I say, it's fine, let's just talk. He's also, again, he's not saying anything interesting. He's basically telling me how Africa is a dump hole and he never wants to come back. He can't wait to leave. He's telling me, also he supports Manchester United. No offense to you guys, but I just don't like that team. I'm not big on soccer, but I don't like that team specifically. So I was just like, ew. And he kept on like pushing down my throat how he's supporting Manchester United. And even after I told him like, I don't have. And then it got to the point where I was so bored that I had to be like, tell me something interesting about you. He then just looked at me. He looked at me like, what the fuck must I say? Because this is such a hard question. This gent now decides he wants to be super, super affectionate again. Keep in mind, there's a table between us. Guys, he literally he took this hand, went to my extreme arm and pulled me. So like I have this metal table cutting into my side and he's just like forcing my head onto his shoulder and like kissing like my forehead, but like not like, like when a dog is kissing you. And I was so frustrated. I was just like, what the hell is this? What is going on? And then he when you're on someone's shoulder like this, like you, and his head is here. And then he like came in for lumps, guys. I was doing gymnastics on the bench. It was so awful. It was so bad. Like this gent, the previous night, was funny as hell. His affection was appropriate. It was normal. It was like, oh, let me touch your leg while we talk and let's actually talk, And he was a great lums. This time he's smothering me like I'm a puppy. I literally felt like a doll that had been missing for 4 years and just been found. It was awful. He's basically not taking in anything I say and forcing his opinion on me when he does talk, but not talking most of the time. He's no longer funny. He's shy as hell and quiet as hell. And he was a bad lums. It was like the most insane switch up. I felt like I was meeting his twin brother. I was like, something here. You look the same, but you're not the same. You're a completely different person from who I was fucking with last night. And if you're that type of person who needs to be drunk to come out on a date, then let's go get drunk. Like, don't tell me, like, let's do nothing. So anyway, you guys can grab how this date is not going well, right? Like, it's really not going well. So I'm like, Tim, so, obviously we've been here for a few hours. What do you want to do? So he's like, oh, I feel like a coffee. Let's go grab a coffee. So I'm like, oh, thank heavens. Like, this is something we can go do, whatever. Me thinking like we're going to go back to the waterfront, grab a table that looks onto the water, drink some coffee. I don't drink coffee, but like I'll get something, No. He finds this like little artisanal coffee shop that's closing in 10 minutes at the bottom of an apartment building. So we go in, I sanitize my hands. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And then I go to the till to place my order. He doesn't thank the guy who's sanitizing our hands. That's a big put off for me. Maybe I'm being extreme, but it's like you have no manners. Anyway, I said, okay, maybe, I didn't grab. We get to the till and I'm like to the guy, hi, how are you? He responds. I'm like, oh, can I please have a chai latte, right? Keep in mind, I was brought to this coffee shop. I'm like, can I please have a chai latte? The guy's like, okay, cool. And he's like, and for you, sir. So, you'd expect him to be like my date. You'd expect my date to be like, hi, how are you? Can I please have a... No. He's like, guys, he's holding his bank card here by his chest, literally like this. He looks at the barista. He looks at me and he goes, no, I'll order and pay for my own coffee. Guys, a coffee's like 25 bucks. In fact, the coffee there was 27 rand on the dot. Like, I'm pretty sure you could have paid for like both of our coffees, or I could have paid for both of our coffees. It was only going to be 52 Rand. That is the cheapest date I could have ever have gone on, you know? Like, for you to make us pay for our coffee separate is like a little bit extreme, hey? As if we're queuing in a supermarket and we don't know each other. Anyway, I like pay for my coffee. I'm like, cool. He orders his coffee, he pays for it, cool. He doesn't say thank you the entire time, doesn't say please. He's just like, I'll have a like cappuccino. I'm like, please, may I have a cappuccino? When you get it, thank you so much. Like, have a lovely day. Like, where are your manners? Where are your manners? What's wrong with you? The coffee place was closing, so we couldn't sit there, right? So I'm thinking we're gonna just go, it's the waterfront. There are benches everywhere, as we had seen the last time. I'm thinking we're gonna go sit at a fucking bench and drink coffee, guys. Like, seriously, and talk. We stand on like this dock. I don't even know, this dock. And it's not even like we're looking at the nice water. We're looking at like where they literally load and offload cargo ships, right? It's not even pretty. And this man is gulping down his coffee and he gets the most insane caffeine buzz to the point where he's twitching. So I'm watching this man twitch in front of me. Like, he's hyperactive. You can't even stand still. He's like tapping his foot on the floor. He's like moving his hands. He's like talking to me like this. Literally, he's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So I'm like, whoa, okay. Now this man can see me drinking my chai latte. I'm watching the sunset very nicely, you know. This man literally pulls me in for alarms while my coffee cup is like this. You can see I'm drinking coffee. What are you doing? Why are you embarrassing me? What's wrong with you? It was so embarrassing. Like, I'm gonna spit my chai latte now down your throat because you don't want to let me swallow. What the fuck are you doing? Fuck. We go back, and as walking past all the restaurants, he's like, I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten today. So I'm like, oh, lol, do you want to go grab something to eat? Like, we literally could have gone to McDonald's. He's like, no, not really. I'll just starve until, like, I get back to Ray's. So I'm like, okay, that's unhealthy. Also, you drank a lot yesterday. Let's go get something to eat. He's like, no, you know, I don't really feel like doing all of that. And then he looks at me and he's like, but you know, you seem like the type of woman who would pay for my food just to make sure I'm fed. You know what the worst part is? You'd think I would have left at this point. But I began to feel so awkward by how awkward he was that I didn't know how to like, put it over. So then he starts like holding my hand again and dragging me through the mall like I'm his puppy. And we walk around this mall again, time after time after time after time. And so I'm like, bro, we can't keep walking around this black. Like, this is messy. So we go to like the promenade and I'm like, I just want to watch the ocean. Like, let's just sit in peace and watch the ocean. I've made peace with the fact that you don't talk. And when you do talk, you talk shit. So let's just sit in peace, watch and listen to the ocean. Oh my gosh, this man is holding me. You know when someone holds you and they're literally rocking you like this? It's like you're trying to make me seasick, mate. I'm already watching the ocean do the whole back and forth, back and forth. Why are you also making me move like I'm on a fucking boat? What the hell? So I'm like to him, bro, what's going on? He's like, oh no, hugging you just is so peaceful. You know, it feels so nice. I'm like, hi, yeah, okay, guys. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? What the hell am I doing here? So now I'm like, yo, no, something needs to give. I think at that point, God had had enough of seeing me suffer, because then Nastasha called me. She's like, when are you coming home? And I was like, yo, bro, actually, you know, my phone's about to die, so I need to come home. So then I'm like to him, okay, listen, I'm going to Uber back to the posse. Cool. He's like, let me Uber with you. I'm like, for what? He's like, to make sure you're safe. So I was like, okay, fine. Right? I'm like, do you want to stop by McDonald's or something to get something to eat? He's like, no. When I go back to his, I'll just get myself something to eat. I'm sure you'll sort yourself out. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm like, okay, cool. I ordered the Uber. And we get into the Uber. We're sitting there and I'm like, oh my word. I'm so exhausted. Like, I just made it a statement, right? This gent literally takes me by the neck. So he's sitting here. He takes my neck like this and he pushes me like this down onto his lap. So I'm trying to like get up and he's like, no, it's okay. You're not heavy. You can lie on my lap. I'm like, no, I didn't say I was heavy. Like, I'm trying to get up and he's holding me down. I'm like, bro, what's going on? He's like, no, you said you're tired. I want you to sleep. I said, bro, stop being annoying. Like, I want to sit up. I just said I'm tired. He's like, okay, fine. I tried to move to the other side of the Uber. He's holding me. He puts his arms around me and he's like forcing my head onto his shoulder again and like stroking my shoulder. I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? So when we get back to the posse, I'm like, I'm not taking you into the apartment building. I literally stood on the pavement. I'm like, yeah, you can call your Uber. Ash and Nas are on the balcony watching me. He holds me there and then he grabs my face and he gives me a horrible lums, guys, a horrible lums. But he lumses me for long and then he looks at me and he goes. So I look up at Ash and Nas and I just do this. And I'll go into the apartment building. I go right up. Then they're like to me, oh, you look in love. I said, guys, worst date of my life. I'm never going back. They cackled. I said, I'm never going back. Nothing like that. Worst part is when his friends asked him about the date, he said it was so much fun. He had such a great time. It was such a good date. Are you not embarrassed? But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the story time. Interact. If you like these story times, please like, subscribe, comment, shoot me a message, whatever, so I know to keep doing them. And all my love to you. Hope you're in your bag and doing everything that you need to be doing. And once again, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.